Alrighty, so it's been about a couple days, and as you can see, the parts are all painted. Yeah, you can see a bit of brush strokes on them. Even though this paint was kind of thinned, I neglected to think about the temperature, because temperature plays a factor in how well it levels, and it's about 40 degrees outside right now. So, yeah, it didn't really level at all. But I got a nice thick coating on there, and I mean, even though it's 2 days, you can tell this is already nice and hard. So, yeah, time to put, gonna start pushing, what do you call them? The bushings into these guys. So that should be fun. So here are the polyurethane bushings that are gonna go in, that replacing the old crumbly rubber ones. Now, these are much harder, and so, yeah, they're gonna make it it's gonna be a fairly stiff ride. It's gonna rattle your fillings, but likewise, it also means that it's going to handle a little better and it's going to be a little tighter. And yeah, should be better overall. I'm making this is more of like a Sunday driver kind of, balls to the walls as fast as you can go kind of dealio. So yeah, but anyways, these are pretty easy to install. You just sort of push them in, one from each side. You don't even need a press. I mean, any bench vise is pretty much overkill to do this. You do want to put a little bit of lube in them, because otherwise you're going to have squeaky suspension for the rest of eternity, because these guys sit there. Oh, you know what happens. It's freaking rubber against metal. It's going to squeak. So, yeah, these two guys are for the mustache bar. These guys are for this guy, which is the transmission mount. And one thing, I think the guys that I ordered this from screwed up, because for some reason I got two sets of the what do these say? These are the front sway bar bushings. I got two sets of those when I only need one set, and yet for the rear control arms, I didn't get any sets. So, yeah, it's always fun to deal with, So before you shove these bad boys in, you gotta, of course, grease the sleeves and the inner sleeves. And the stuff I like to use is this stuff here. This is disc and drum brake wheel bearing grease. Basically what that means is it's a very sticky grease, because you don't want it to get flung into the brake pads, because grease and brakes, that's sort of the opposite of what you want. So yeah, it's really sticky. I mean, it clings like you wouldn't believe. So yeah, it means that it hopefully won't get flung off. This is one of those jobs, a little dab will do you, a big one will screw you, because it does attract dirt. So if you smear this stuff all over the place, you make a giant mess with it, it's going to look like crap, and then you're going to get dirt to stick, and then you get abrasives, and then, yeah, that's basically sandpaper, and you're just asking for these things to whittle themselves away. So, yeah, without further ado, the hardest part really is just starting them. Once you get them started with a little tappy tap tap, and you just need to move them on over here, and it's just a matter of turning the wheel, which is no problem whatsoever. So that's the bushings in, and now you just grab the little sleeves, lube that sucker up, and shove that in the middle. Keep in mind, this is a messy job. You're gonna get grease all over your hands, unless of course you wear gloves, but we're not intelligent like that here. Also, I don't like the feel of them. It feels like a stranger. No dexterity whatsoever, and then they get caught in everything and get sucked into stuff, and yeah, nobody likes that. Anyways, let's press this sucker in, and that's one side good to go. Now to do 3 others, and just like that, we got mustache bar and transmission mount ready to go, looking pretty spiffy. Last part for the transmission support is this little bracket guy here, which has got rubber in it, and that's what mounts actually directly to the bottom of the transmission. Biggest thing to remember is line up these indents, otherwise you'll never be able to get the bolts into these little holes here. I just need to install that one for the rear diff on the rear diff support cross member. So a quick search through the new hardware bin revealed that I do not have replacement hardware for these guys. So yeah, you just kind of stick them in the vise, and then a little bit of brushy brush action, and they don't look half bad. These are zinc plated, so basically just want to take most of the light surface rust and crud off of them, and these are big enough and they're gonna stay dry enough. It's a California car, so really not gonna be an issue. But I'll clean them up a little bit, and then finish putting this guy most of the way back together. Again, going back to the first pro tip, put it as close together as you can, even if it's out of the car, because this is probably going to sit for 4 or 5 weeks, and then I'm going to go and look at it and not remember how the hell this thing came apart, or where things went, or which bolts came off of what. So yeah, keep things together. That's a good rule for life, really. So another body component done, just awaiting to return from whence it came. And so this guy will get stored on the shelf of finished parts along with its other buddies until God knows when in the future. And it'll get to be put back in. Always keep your stuff together, because it's annoying when you can't find your shit. And I think I'd spend about half my time looking for shit that I just had or that I set down like a few months ago. So yeah, try and be organized, or at least more organized than I am.